everyone, Anna Hilty here, your holistic health and eating psychology coach. So welcome to Holistic Choices, your holistic options to calm the body and heal the mind. So today we have Tijana. Hi, Tijana.
Hi, Anna.
Before we get started in knowing a little bit more about Tijana, don't forget to download your free PDF form that features practitioners here, their service to Rising Sun, their favorite inspirational quote, and the best contact information for them. So go ahead and click on the link below and you'll get that directly into your inbox. So let's get started. You ready?
Yep, I am.
So before we go into what your services are here at Rising Sun, let's know a little bit more on a personal side. What would you say your favorite inspirational quote is?
Well, you told me you were going to ask me that, so I had to bring it because I'm one of those people who change quotes, and my kids say, "Mom, no, that's not what it is." So I actually brought it on my phone because I don't want to rewrite someone's quote.
Yeah.
So this is my favorite quote of today. Each season, each growth period, I have a different one. But right now, it's from Mary Oliver. Tell me, what is your plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
I love that.
Yeah, I do. I do now. It's interesting, if I can expound here, is that would have never been my favorite quote maybe 6 years ago, because it was more about what do you plan to do, and you better accomplish something. And, you know, it would have been more telling me I better accomplish something, like all the motivational quotes.
Yeah.
So now where I'm at my life now, it's just a joyous gift. Like, what's it going to be?
Yeah, curiosity.
Yeah, now it's curiosity. Before it was a job to check off.
So like a lot of us practitioners at Rising Sun, we have so many different services that we offer. What would you say is your favorite or your primary service that you offer here?
Well, I come to Rising Sun as a little bit different background. This is more of my outreach. So my main tool that I use is called Emotional Freedom Technique. And I use it through workshops and professional development for companies. And all my clients are FaceTime.
Oh, cool.
So Rising Sun is like a little mini fun way for me to get out to the community and touch. And so I use something called Emotional Freedom Technique, which is a neuroscience-based technique and physiological in nature. And I like science. 95% of your behavior, neuroscientists and researchers have found, is driven by your subconscious. And that has to do with your amygdala and your fight, flight, or freeze. So what tapping does is every time you think of something anxious, you calm. You calm. So it's almost like, and it's used so many different ways, but let me just take it to the simplest form. Let's say that you, at work, you have a boss who kind of triggers you, or your husband triggers you, or when you think about your wedding, you get anxious. And every time you think about that, you get just a little anxiety, not a lot, maybe, and you release chemicals and for the stress response, and it raises your cortisol levels and your adrenals. It's just bad for you.
Yeah.
So what tapping does is almost like you start thinking about, oh my God, I got the wedding, and then somebody from a rising sun here starts rubbing your shoulders, and you're like, oh yeah, it feels good. And they're like, oh, I got to worry about this. Oh, and then somebody rubs your shoulders. So as soon as you think about that, because you've tapped on these meridian points, it physiologically interrupts that anxiety rising, and you go into calm. What I really like about it is it taps into, why are you stressing out about your wedding? Like, why does that person trigger you? So that has to deal with the subconscious component of tapping.
Yeah. So what are the tapping points?
Well, it depends on who taught you. I went with a woman named Carol Look, who worked directly with the founder of tapping, EFT, Gary Craig, and I worked with her. I coached under her for a while. I mean, I was trained under her. So this is where she does them. Somebody else who might have learned them some other way, people can rearrange them, but basically it's at the eyebrow right here, where your hair meets your eyebrow. It's the side of your eye here. I'll do it on the side so people can see. It's the side of the eye where our smile lines are, right down here.
Right here.
Okay, gently. And it's under the eye. It's under the nose. We call this under the nose. This is called your chin. And then there's something called your collarbone, and it's where a man would have a tie. I kind of always go over to the side. And then there's something called under the arm.
Okay.
And then this is called top of your head. And these are meridian points There's a lot of science behind it, but we don't. I like the science, but most people just want the result. And my friend introduced me to tapping. And I really wasn't interested because it just looks weird. Yeah. And you're telling me this is neuroscience? No, this is just weird looking. Yeah. And so I wouldn't do it. And then she kind of gave me a good angle. She said, well, you can do it while you're in bed. Oh. I'm like, okay. So I started doing it in bed. And Anna, the change was so dramatic that I not only got out of bed, but I started reacting differently to life. And when something like that happens, you really want to share it. Yeah. I can say, though, that, yes, I changed with tapping. I got better. I got a little happy, definitely happier. I moved around. But to get to the level where you're excited for life and you have peace and joy and ease and abundance and all this good things, you really need a coach. And that's what I did with Carol Look and Marty Murphy, my other coach. So they are the ones who helped me tremendously. Yeah. And it worked so fast that I wanted to share it. So I went into I was already coaching people, and I was already doing like more group coaching. And so I added this piece and I wanted to bring it as an outreach, and that's what I do.
Great. Yeah. So have you seen any transformations with EFT? Like, other than yourself?
You know, the truth is I had so many clients that were FaceTime one and done that they didn't come back for more and more sessions because, when you rewire yourself, you are no longer triggered. Yeah. Like that person is still themselves. You're no longer reacting. You still have bills, but you're no longer reacting. Yeah. So you're procrastinating. Once you identify why, you can deal with it. So I went into groups because it gave me opportunity to move and grow into other areas, and that's really how it started. I've seen such a fast change. And with tapping, because you actually rewire yourself, sometimes change can be instant. I was working with a client. She's top of her game. She is an executive. I think she's around 50, and she's always been in a field with men. No big deal. Mm-hmm. Always. She's the only female, all men. Then somebody joined her team, and she would get triggered. And she said, every time I'm in there, I feel like I'm not heard. I feel stressed. I feel anxious, and I feel like I want to run away. Now, you're 50 years old. You've been in the business forever, of an international company. You want to run away. Yeah. So we did one FaceTime session, and what came up was, you see, once you work through your tapping points and you think about what is going on and you repeat these phrases, all of a sudden you calm when I think about them, this happens, you calm that. And then all of a sudden it comes to you from your subconscious. She actually was 14 years old. And she was getting a ride home from the babysitter. And he leaned over and kissed her on the cheek. The father did. Oh, wow. She told her father this. And he said, the dad was a single father raising her. And he said, oh, no, he's a good neighbor. It's your imagination. So after 2 more incidents and a little bit more, where he tried a little bit more, she said, and she's tapping while she's telling the story. She said, I just wanted to run away. And so what happened is, you see, the 14-year-old got triggered. The 14-year-old showed up at the meeting. Yes. Not the 50-year-old. The 50-year-old, yeah. And so she would keep showing up as the 14-year-old. Once she tapped on that, and she tapped down the anxiety, and we rewired her, and we went through a couple of things. A week later, she had another session because they buy packages. And I asked her, let's say this guy's name is, Carl. I said, how's Carl doing? And she said, my husband's name is Tim. And I said, no, the guy from work. She goes, oh my gosh, you can't believe it. He doesn't even bother me anymore. So the second session was actually, we just worked on some other things, but that's really why she came to me for this stress. Yeah. By the second session, he no longer triggers her. And he will never trigger her ever again. When you are getting stressed or triggered, it's not your current self that's showing up. It's your subconscious self, which typically is a 6-year-old, or you're looking through things like as a 14-year-old. Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest misconception when it comes to EFT tapping?
That it's weird. I mean, it looks weird.
Yeah.
It would be very popular right now if it didn't look so weird.
Yeah. People in their cars going like
I
this.
know. But what I want you to know is we're ahead of the curve here because meditation was weird. Yoga was weird.
That's true.
Reiki was weird. All these things were weird. Right. And now you can get a certification in so many of these things. So you can get CEUs. Tapping's right around the bend because you don't need a practitioner to do it by yourself. It's wonderful to have a practitioner to coach you and train you. But then if you're at home and something's triggering you, like your in-laws coming and you start getting stressed, you can just start tapping and you calm yourself.
Yeah.
So I think the main thing that is, it just looks weird. But I've seen the Olympics doing it. I've seen pro athletes do it. People call me up and say, I was watching some reality show and they were tapping. I was at a comedy club in Boston and they were using it as part of the stint.
Yeah.
And a while ago, I never even knew what it was.
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm glad it's coming mainstream.
My friend told me about it 20 years and it was so weird. I won't do that. That's so weird.
Yeah. So are you ready for the energy round?
Oh, sure.
So I'm going to ask you a question and then whatever is the first answer that comes to mind. So what would be the best advice you've ever been given?
The best advice I've ever been given. Well, I can say that at each point in my life, the best advice was given that I needed to move ahead. It was always, I didn't move without a learning opportunity, which came from a learning experience, or I go through a learning experience and then somebody tells me what I just went through. Wait, hold on. I have my favorite, my girlfriend gave me this quote.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would say. When you're on a journey and the end keeps getting further and further away, then you realize that the real end is the journey. Carl Fried. And that was the advice that I've gotten lately is it's really just about the journey.
What would you think is the one action step our viewers can take today?
One action step. Well, first of all, you already took the first action step in that if you found this website and you're watching a YouTube video on it, you've actually taken the first step. And I think that means that you actually want more. You're not content. So that is really exciting. One next step is don't make it complicated. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if you're procrastinating, there's a subconscious reason why, and you should tap.
Yes.
Because
true.
Because here you are, you're watching this. If you're not going to take the next step, there is a very good reason why you're not. Even though you say you want it, trust me, it's in your subconscious.
Okay.
And another action step that you can do is go to this website, Rising Sun Holistic, because you see, if you want more, you need to find the right fit for you. And this place has so many practitioners, so many personalities. If you could have gotten done what you want done, you would have done it by now. So if you're here, you want more, take some time and look through the directory. Find a practitioner, find a personality that matches you. It's just like finding a hairstylist. You got to find the right fit. But there's so many to choose from and so many different modalities and way you can do the business. So that would be another step, is to look through the practitioners, make a decision to pick one. And it might take you 2 or 3 to find the one for you, but what's the alternative? Staying right where you're at?
Yeah. Staying in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Nothing happens inside the comfort zone.
So congratulations, kudos for finding this website. It tells you you want more. Now you can just take the next step.
Yeah. So what would be the best way to contact you? Maybe set up a session or group coaching or anything like that?
Oh, okay. So one way is I do small groups here at Rising Sun. You could check that. Those come occasionally. You could email me at info@cosocoaching.com. That's info, I-N-F-O, @cosocoaching.com. You could go to my website. There is a way for you to get a free 15-minute consultation to find out if we're a fit, if I can help you. And if you're a corporation, you can bring me in for professional development. And if you're a charity, I do charity work, because ideally I want everybody to have an opportunity to become less stressed and just think how good the world will be. So those are a couple ways to get a hold.
That's great. And also below this video, we'll have all those listed. So the website,
that's great.
Also Rising Sun's link to your bio, and any way to contact you.
Perfect.
So thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Truly.
Again, before we end this great conversation, don't forget to download your free PDF guide that features 6 practitioners or service that they offer here at Rising Sun, their favorite inspirational quote, and their contact information. So go ahead and click on the link below and check that out. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next month.